Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to you here in person at the UN headquarters in New York as we gather for this side event. Hosted by Republic of Kazakhstan in its capacity as the chair of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, also known as CICA. I am Ambassador Kairat Sarıbay, the Secretary General of CICA. I'm honored to serve as today's moderator for this gathering. Your presence is greatly valued, especially considering your busy schedule during the UN General Assembly high-level session, high-level week. I would like to express my gratitude to the permanent mission of Kazakhstan for the timely organizing of this side event, which follows closely after the SDG summit and aligns with preparations for the summit of the future. I warmly welcome distinguished representative of the chairmanship, Ambassador Akhan Rahmetulin, permanent representative of Kazakhstan to UN at our event today. Welcome, Ambassador. I'm honored to welcome the UN high-level officials at this event. UN Under-Secretary General, Associated Administrator of United Nations Development Programme, Mr. Haolang Shu, UN Under-Secretary General, Executive Secretary of UN ESCAP, Ms. Arminda Salsia Ali Shabana, and Executive Secretary and UN Under-Secretary General, Executive Secretary of the Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, Ms. Rola Dashti. Dear colleagues, as was noted, the side event focused on the cooperation among CICA, UN, and regional organizations for SDGs with the aim of to strengthen partnership, promote cooperation and coordination on sustainable development and climate change, as well as to facilitate exchanges among our organizations. Side event will introduce efforts of CICA, other regional organizations, but also UN nations in achieving the SDGs and advancing the interchange of experience and lessons learned among the member states and international organizations. Our event will start with my opening remarks and CICA chairmanship that will take up to 7 minutes each, and keynote statements from the UN senior representatives up to 10 minutes. Following this, there will be an interactive discussion, which representatives will be provided 5 minutes for a statement, and I expect to complete our event within 1 hour by 4 p.m. You may wish to speak in either of two CICA working languages, English or Russian. Distinguished delegations, allow me to start the opening session with my welcoming remarks, and there are simultaneously introductory remarks. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome all of you at the CICA side event and express my deep gratitude for participation despite your tight schedules. My name is Kairat Sarıbay, CICA Secretary General. It's repeating for the newcomers. The Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, as an intergovernmental forum with the widest geographical coverage in the Asian region and a broad agenda, together with its 28 member states, is creating a unique platform to consolidate the wisdom of Asian nations for peace, cooperation, security, and development, and to fully integrate them into multilateral decision-making processes of global importance. Our approach involves broadening shared ground by jointly implementing measures to build trust, spanning various dimensions, including sustainable development. Voluntary collaborative efforts, such as practical activities, aim to elevate relationships from mere interaction to deep understanding, fostering trust, encouraging dialogue, and bolstering cooperation. This represents CICA's commitment to ensuring unified security in Asia and creating the essential prerequisites for effectively achieving the SDGs. With its multilateral approach, CICA plays a pivotal role in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals through its 5 dimensions. We have them in our CBM's catalog. Firstly, its military political dimensions foster a trust, stability, essential for sustainable development initiatives to thrive. Furthermore, the economic dimension promotes economic cooperation, trade, and investment, which are pivotal for economic growth and the eradication of poverty. Thirdly, the human dimension focuses on human rights gender equality and social justice, which are integral to achieving inclusive and equitable societies. Moreover, the environmental dimension emphasizes environmental protection and sustainable resource management, contributing directly to environmental sustainability goals that are related to the SDGs. By the way, the SDGs 13 and 15. Finally, CICA's new challenges and threats dimension addresses emerging global issues like terrorism, conflicts, and cybersecurity, which are interconnected with multiple SDGs. In summary, CICA's comprehensive approach aligns with various dimensions of SDGs, making it a key player in advancing sustainable development in the Asian region. Dear guests, CICA member states consistently reaffirm their dedication to the principles and goals of the UN and UN Charter. In 2007, CICA was granted observer status at the UN General Assembly. Since then, CICA Secretariat has been developing ties with the UN and its agencies, participating in the sessions of UNGA, as well as other relevant UN meetings, workshops, and seminars, in particular ESCAP, UNRCCA, UNOCT, and UNODC. Furthermore, in 2008, an MOU was signed with International Organization for Migration, in 2015 with UNODC. All this allowed for a regular dialogue, exchange of views and experience, sharing on topical issues of regional and global agenda, and how CICA can be instrumental in achieving UN goals corresponding to 5 dimensions of CICA interaction. Our plans also include strengthening ties with UN ESCAPE as we look forward to its 80th session in April next year. And I'm grateful to Madam Ali Shabana for her keen interest in CICA process. 2 days before, we reached an agreement with Executive Secretary of the UN Economic Commission for West Asia to explore the possibility of collaborating on activities of mutual interest. Additionally, we have been exploring the potential of cooperation with UN Women, in particular on the role of women in developing SMEs, and there is certain interest in cooperation with UNESCO, especially focusing on the youth policies, development, education, science, and intercultural dialogue. CICA Secretariat is determined to enhance partnership with the UN and its agencies to promote regional connectivity and implement sustainable development goals. My last topic is about the new initiatives and our current institutions. During the last CICA summit in Astana in 2022, our heads of state and government launched the CICA transformation process into a full-fledged regional international organization. At this summit, President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, put forward an initiative to strengthen cooperation in the environmental dimension by holding a high-level environmental conference in Astana next year to identify environmental issues and develop coordinated solutions under the auspices of CICA. By organizing such a high-level conference, the CICA platform will demonstrate its commitment to environmental protection and sustainable development. Asia, as a continent with a large population, robust economic growth, and geographical diversity, faces a much greater challenge in incorporating a wide variety of approaches to tackle various climatic and environmental challenges. Moreover, the Kazakh chairmanship during the summit initiated the establishment of CICA Council on Sustainable Connectivity to tackle new challenges in the global economy, including supply chain, to address the undeveloped connectivity in the CICA member states. The ambitious objective of this council will be to develop and strengthen the transit and transport potential and transport corridors of the CICA member states, whose geography stretches from the Pacific Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea and from the Arctic to the Indian Ocean. The Kazakh chairmanship and CICA Secretariat are currently finalizing the concept paper for this new CICA body for subsequent discussion by all member states. On top of that, within the economic dimension, we have CICA advisory body established back in 2014, the CICA Business Council, which includes representatives of business associations and government agencies of member states. This institution is responsible for promoting the development and expansion of economic relations of the SMEs and meets annually, convening the CICA Business Forum as part of its meeting. So there were the topics of the Business Council meetings were in 2021, the business prospects in the context of pandemic with a focus on food production, including deep processing grains, oil crops, meat and the dairy products, And in 2022, the discussion was centered on digitalization of SME business process and food security. And this year, in October, we will have another Business Council meeting on the topic of green finance, renewable energy, and food security. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to point out that sustainable development is a fundamental concept with the power to shape our future. A correct understanding of the concept of sustainability is one of the key points in achieving sustainable development goals. SDGs reminds us that our destinies are intertwined and the challenges we face are global in nature. The goals of sustainable development can only be achieved when we commit to true cooperation, solidarity, and partnership. I'm confident that CICA and its member states are well placed to make a meaningful contribution to the global efforts to achieve these objectives. Let us have a renewed commitment to collaboration and partnership, knowing that by working together, we can build a more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous future for all the people of Asia and beyond. I thank you. Now I would like to proceed further with with a great pleasure, I give the floor to the distinguished representative of the host of the side event, Ambassador Akan Rahmetulin, head of the mission of the Republic of Kazakhstan to UN. Ambassador Rahmetulin is a seasoned diplomat with an impressive career spanning over 30 years, primarily focused on multilateral diplomacy. He held the position of First Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Kazakhstan, following his role as Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, in which capacity he successfully conducted the CICA ministerial meeting in 2021. By the way, I guess that your wonderful chairmanship at our ministerial meeting was the main reason why you was promoted. Prior to these roles, Ambassador Rahmetulin served as Ambassador of Kazakhstan to Pakistan, Director of the Department of Multilateral Cooperation at the MFA, and Deputy Permanent Representative of Kazakhstan to UN in New York, showcasing his expertise in global diplomacy and negotiations. And most importantly, he held also position of Deputy Permanent Representative to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE, in Vienna, from 2007 and 2011, and he was very much instrumental during Kazakh chairmanship in 2010. Ambassador Rahmetulin has consistently showcased his commitments and expertise in promoting Kazakh diplomatic interest at the global stage. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear friends. First of all, I would like to greet our Undersecretary Generals, my friend Haulian Shu and Madam Alice Jabana, and Executive Secretary Madam Dashti, and my friend, brother, colleague Kairat Saribay, Ambassador, Secretary General of CICA, and many thanks for the introduction you just made, and I revealed about myself so many interesting things that I almost forgot that I worked in some other places than here. Well, dear colleagues, thank you again very much for being here with us and for your time. I know this time is very hectic and we all are engaged with our delegations attending, high-level delegations attending the high-level week, and despite this, being very tightly engaged in the schedule of your heads of delegation, you found opportunity to come here to join us at this meeting, as we consider a very important meeting. And the subject of today's event is the global cooperation, global partnership, and of course CICA being the regional organization and encompassing very wide range of, I would say, 28 member states and 9 observer states, 5 organizations, which constitute territory of more than 90% of the territory of Asia, now is focusing on attaining the partnership on the global level, because since we have here representative from Asian continent, Madam Alice Jabana and Madam Dashti, and we think that we have to expand our cooperation on the further scope in order to attain better results, in order to attain the synergy in our efforts. And today we are all witnessing how member states of the United Nations are trying to being on the halfway towards the 2030 and reaching the sustainable development goals, are trying to find out the way to speed up, to boost the dynamic of how to implement them, because we know that we are in a very hard situation particularly those countries facing some limits in their capacities, financial capacities or practical capacities in reaching the SDGs, to get some input from both member states and international institutions, of course with the United Nations leading role, but also with the regional organizations. And CICA being the regional organization and being already completing 30 years of its existence and encompassing quite an interesting company there, like countries belonging to different parts of Asia, be it Israel or Palestine, be it Iran and India and Pakistan, nevertheless manages to promote and produce very important outcome documents aimed at practical results, aimed at results that would bring us to a better future. And though there is no there is no mentioning of, the mandate of CICA, any reference to the SDGs, but the catalog of confidence building measures, it comes shoulder to shoulder to the SDGs, because in many cases it's kind of cross-cutting nature, having the cross-cutting nature. The CICA mandate, CICA working documents, CICA strategies promote same values, same interests, same expectations from our further development. And I would like to ask our colleagues from the United Nations representing the Regional Commission and Region for Asia, maybe to expand during your coordination meetings, strategic coordination meetings, idea of uniting or synergizing the efforts of the regional organizations. Because, for example, in Africa, in Latin America, we have also regional organizations working, having the same aims, having same mandate in trying to attain same goals, and to unite these efforts and to complement each other in our work towards attaining these SDGs. I think it would be quite useful, and it will play for the interest of all member states, of all stakeholders. As I said, today we are on halfway towards the 2030, and with the Summit for the Future next year, SDG Summit, now we are preparing for the Summit for the Future next year. And I believe that during this year left till this Summit for the Future, we would be able to come up with some tangible results which would benefit and contribute to the process we all are working here together for. That's why I am confident that despite many political contradictions, despite many issues and troubles we face, we would find the political will and political wisdom to overcome many discrepancies, many contradictions, and will be able to produce the roadmap, to identify the way forward to provide a better future for new generations to come. So with this, I don't want to take much of your time, and I would like to stop here. And thank you again, dear colleagues, dear participants. Thank you, Ambassador.
Dear Khan, my friend, thank you so much for your welcoming remarks. Now we are more or less acquainted the information, basic information on what is CICA. May I request another 3 minutes that we will show you a very short video, and then we will continue with our high UN representatives.
The Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia. CICA is the largest regional intergovernmental forum for enhancing cooperation towards promoting peace, security and stability in Asia, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea and from the Urals to the Indian Ocean. The need to convene the forum was driven by ever-expanding globalization, rapid economic development, population growth, and the need for food and energy resources on the Asian continent. Ongoing sub-regional and local conflicts became a clear imperative to create a platform for Pan-Asian dialogue. The idea of convening CICA, first announced by First President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev in 1992, marked the beginning of a new format of cooperation in Asia.
Речь идет об инициативе Республики Казахстан по проведению совещаний по взаимодействию и мерам доверия в Азии, СВМДА.
Stressing the diversity of Asia, CICA's agenda is based on confidence-building measures in 5 dimensions of interaction. The unique qualities of the forum, the principle of consensus in decision-making, and the principle of voluntary participation in the implementation of confidence-building measures. The CICA governing bodies convene their regular meetings at all levels, enabling the member states to develop a shared vision and a common approval on a wide range of regional and global issues. CICA has a permanent executive body, the Secretariat, to provide substantive, organizational and administrative support for all CICA activities. By its 30th anniversary, significant steps have been taken for the institutionalization of the conference, which enable the member states to effectively interact in various areas of mutual interest. CICA statutory and regulatory documents have been developed and adopted, which created an effective political, institutional, administrative and legal framework for cooperation within CICA. New Asia, towards the new world.
Thank you so much. That was a short presentation of
The
what is
conference
CICA.
on interact-
And now I would like to invite to the floor Mr. Haoliang Shu, Under-Secretary General and Associated Administrator of UNDP, to deliver his welcoming remarks. Mr. Shu has been serving as the Assistant Secretary General and Director of the Bureau for Policy and Program Support, UNDP, since 2019. The time is running. And his extensive background also includes his time as the UNDP Assistant Administrator and Director for the Regional Bureau for Asia and the Pacific, a position he held between 2013 and 2019. Mr. Shu brings to the position nearly 3 decades of experience in the field of international development. He has fulfilled various roles within the organization, working in various field and headquarters, assignment in Asia Pacific, Europe, and specifically I would like to mention the Central Asia. And before his career at the United Nations, Mr. Shu worked in the field of civil engineering in China and the United States. My dear friend, dear Mr. Shu, dear Haoliang, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Saribhai. It's my pleasure to participate in this important event, and also Ambassador Rahmatullah, my esteemed UN colleagues from Executive Secretary of ESCAP and the Executive Secretary of ESCWA, distinguished participants. We congratulate the CICA for convening this side event at the UNGA and as we finish the SDG Summit. And this is really an important opportunity for us to work together to enhance international cooperation among CICA and the United Nations, regional organizations, and member states. this partnership is particularly important as we know that the SDGs are not on track, and we're facing multiple crises, and we need the partnerships to break the impasse in development and move forward. And I would like to say that UNDP has been enjoying its long-standing and strategic engagement with global partners, including the regional organizations. We have had a long-standing relationship with, for example, the Arab League, with African Union, with OECD, with the OAS, and with ASEAN, for example. We have a UN ASEAN Framework Agreement for which the Secretary General's Office and the Executive Secretaries of ESCAP are co-chairs. And we have had multiple initiatives focusing on issues important for peace and security and development with these regional organizations. We really appreciate the fact that CICA is an important pan-Asian organization that is promoting peace, security, and stability in the region, and for decades already. And we would like to support the mandate of CICA and also look at how we can work together to credibly support the development agenda. As we have seen from the video earlier, on at least 4 of the 5 dimensions of the organization, which include economic dimension, environmental dimension, human dimension, and new challenges and the threats dimension, we see a lot of common interest and the convergence of our agenda. And we believe that there are opportunities for us to work together. And we also would like to take the opportunity to welcome the idea, the initiative in 2024, the organization of the high-level conference of CICA in Astana. And we take note of the strong focus of this high-level conference on environmental challenges. As the Secretary General has framed it, we are facing the triple crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and the pollution. And I think the 2024 high-level conference of CICA in Astana will provide an opportunity for all of us to focus on these challenges as well as on solutions. UNDP is supporting 120 countries to implement the Paris Agreement. We're supporting more than 140 countries to support their work to protect their biodiversity. We strongly believe that this country experience and our country office network and the knowledge and experience that we've accumulated can serve as a useful input to the organization of this conference and the work beyond. Finally, UNDP will work under the direction of our Secretary General's Office in close coordination with our UN partnerships. And we look forward to our continued collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Undersecretary General, for sharing your insights with us and highlighting the areas of our common interest and where we can synergize our efforts for the better future. Thank you so much again. It is my distinct honor to introduce our first keynote speaker, Ms. Arminda Salcia Ali Shabana, the UN Undersecretary General, Executive Secretary for UN ESCAP. Ms. Ali Shabana has a remarkable academic track record and distinguished career. Before assuming her role at ESCAP, she served as a professor of economics at Universitas Pajajaran in Bandung, Indonesia, starting from 2005. Her journey at the university began in 1988 when she joined as a lecturer. Since 2016, Ms. Ali Shabana has held the position of director for the Center for Sustainable Development Goal Studies at Universitas Pajajaran and concurrently serves as a vice chair of the Indonesian Academy of Science. Her extensive involvement in various esteemed organizations includes being a member of the governing board of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia and the Advisory Council of the Indonesian Statistics. She also contributes her expertise to the International Advisory Board of the Bulletin of Indonesian Economic Studies and holds a council member position with the Regional Science Association International. From 2009 to 2014, she assumed the vital role of Minister of National Development Planning and headed the National Development Planning Agency in Indonesia. During this period, she served as a co-chair of the Global Partnership for Effective Development Cooperation from 2012 to 2014. Her international engagement further includes roles as the alternate governor of the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. In 2016, she lent her expertise as a member of high-level independent team of advisors supporting the ECOSOC dialogue on the longer-term positioning of the United Nations development system in the context of the 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development. Throughout her career, Ms. Ali Shabana has been actively engaged in a range of research projects and consultancies for esteemed organizations, including the UN Nations University, the Institute for Advanced Study in Tokyo, the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia, the Australian Agency for International Development, European Commission, and the International Labour Organization. Her dedication to research and policy making has had a significant impact on the field of economics and sustainable development. The floor is yours, Madam.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Karat Saribai, for the very warm welcome and remarks. May I start by recognizing also the presence of His Excellency Ambassador Akan Rahmatulin, Ambassador of Kazakhstan, or Permanent Representative of Kazakhstan to the United Nations, as well as my colleague here, Hao-Liang Su, as well as Rola Dashti from ESCWA. So it is indeed my pleasure to contribute some remarks here to this very important CICA side event. And also I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate and commend CICA for its already more than 30 years of service in facilitating interaction as well as confidence building measures, not only in Asia, now is already beyond Asia. And I also would like to take the opportunity again to express our appreciation for the various engagement, especially recently ESCAP and CICA in various important events, and hope to strengthen further this already good collaboration. So if I may, especially to SG CICA, Ambassador Khairat, I would like to take this opportunity from the perspective of our region, Asia Pacific, to quickly highlight priority areas and initiatives that are, again, very important, especially to support the acceleration and implementation of SDGs, as well as areas of as key areas for strengthening cooperation and partnership, because this is basically the core of how we can build confidence, so therefore to contribute further to SDGs. And also within the context, especially confidence building measure is very important within the current context of this geopolitical situation. So the three particular issues or areas of and priority initiative. First one is on how to build or strengthen resiliency, including resilient economies. Why? Because again, we've seen not only pandemic, but also climate change. Climate change, especially the climate-induced disaster, especially in our region, is becoming more intensified, more prevalent. So therefore, how to build resiliencies for countries to be better prepared for future crises. And this is in the context also that we've seen the elevated not only economic risks, but also non-economic risks that I mentioned earlier. For example, pandemic, the climate-induced disaster. So therefore, countries will be better prepared to withstand future crises. Second is also within this resiliency is how to build resiliency within the economic context. So therefore, resiliency in the context of value chain or trade, in this case, also resiliency in the context of connectivity. So in this context, connectivity, of course, in the broader context, to include transport connectivity, energy connectivity, as well as now recently becoming very, very important digital connectivity. So secondly is also how to build increasingly a more inclusive societies within the broader context. Societies meaning, of course, to include also a more inclusive economy. So how also in this context to leave no one behind within countries, within segments of societies, communities, women, the youth, the marginalized people, marginalized community, as well as to leave no one behind across countries, because some countries are maybe lagging behind, for example, LDCs, countries that are in conflict and so on, compared to other countries. Third is how to also build more sustainability. Sustainability, especially if I may just to give one example, sustainability in the context of a more sustainable economy. So therefore, the initiative to support the direction or the shift towards green, blue economy for example, for island countries, of course, the blue economy is also very important. More renewable energy, low carbon economy, as well as various initiatives such as to support in this direction, such as nature-based solution. So therefore, within these three priority areas, especially in the context of our region, Asia Pacific, we hope that regional, sub-regional cooperation, including more cooperation with regional organizations, can be further enhanced. So with that, again, I stop and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much for recognizing the importance of CBMs. Indeed, in our current global challenging times, we need confidence, we need trust, we need more multilateralism, and that also I echo the readiness of cooperation of CICA Secretariat with SCAP Secretariat, that we can probably should more work and define the areas, and I agree absolutely on the resiliency. This is quite important, but I would like to point it out also, we discussed about that promoting connectivity within Asia means serving to the global connectivity, because Asia is the most populous first and the largest continent in the world. If we will have a better connectivity, but we are talking about connectivity not only in terms of transport corridors or transportation means, we have different connectivities, including the digital connectivities, including the social connectivity. people-to-people contacts and within the societies as well. So I agree absolutely, and we will explore further the areas that you mentioned in trade, in sustainability of economics. That's quite on the agenda of CICA as well. Well, thank you so much for all these wonderful perspectives, and I'm delighted to introduce our next keynote speaker, UN Under-Secretary, Executive Secretary of the Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, Madam Rula Dashti. Ms. Dashti, a leading Kuwaiti economist and long-time champion of women's rights and gender equality, is currently serving as member of the Supreme Planning Council in Kuwait from 2012 to 2014. She was a Minister for Planning and Development and Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs. Ms. Dashti played a pivotal role in advocating for the decree to allow Kuwaiti women to vote and run for parliamentary elections. And in May 2009, she, with 3 other women, became the first woman to be elected to the Kuwait's parliament. She has also held key positions in research and development institutions, such as Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, and worked for major local and international financial and development institutions, such as National Bank of Kuwait and the World Bank. Ms. Dashti holds a doctorate degree in population dynamics from Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, a master's degree in economics and finance from California State University, Sacramento, and a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture Economics from California State University, Chico. Ms. Dashti, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Khairat. Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, thanks for inviting me, and I have the privilege to share with you some of ASQA's work in fostering regional collaboration. And I will build on my colleagues on the areas that of collaborations that Armida just mentioned, on resiliency and others, on digital connectivities and others issues. And let me give you some concrete examples of how we're fostering regional collaboration in the region of and who are our partners as we move along, and how we would love also to work with the SIGA in the future as we move forward. First example is ASQA and the League of Arab States. League of Arab States is a long-standing regional partner for the ASQA. We have initiated Arab Vision 2045. This vision has been developed through highly participatory approach. The vision seeks to rekindle hope and foster collaboration in the Arab region through 6 pillars: security, justice, innovation, prosperity, and diversity and cultural renewal. The vision aims to address complex challenges, achieve stability, sustainable development, and fulfill collective aspiration in the Arab societies through regional initiatives and cooperation with tangible impacts on shared priorities. Another example of a shared value that we have with the League of Arab States is the Arab Digital Agenda 2023-2033. It's a collaboration, as I said, between ASQA and the League of Arab States and other UN agencies. This agenda, the Arab Digital Agenda, is adopted by the highest level of Arab heads of states, represents a long-term framework of actions with 35 strategic goals covering various aspects of digital development. The implementation has already commenced, reviving regional integration around common aspiration goals, targets, and indicators. A forthcoming collaboration and partnership framework will be launched to attract the necessary investments to achieve and fuel these initiatives. A third example of some of our regional collaboration is with regional financial institutions and private sector associations, which are very vital ASQA partners for the SDGs. For instance, in partnership with the Islamic Development Bank, ASQA is helping Arab countries mainstream climate actions into national development planning and mobilize climate finance, aligning with their priorities, including the energy transition. Notably, the region has made substantial progress in utility-scale renewable energy generation, with many world-leading projects set to become online in 2023, this year and forward. Additionally, we have been partnering with the Union of Arab Chambers of Commerce and various stakeholders, where we have established a platform called Jusur Platform, dedicated to reducing inequalities in the Arab region by creating employment opportunities for the youth and by providing training to upgrade their skills, increasing their employability. ASQA recently has partnered with the Union of Arab Banks. Our partnership culminated recently with an SDG summit commitment by the Union of the Arab Banks to mobilize Arab financial institutions to provide $1 trillion of between 2024 to 2030 towards financing the SDGs in the region. These are just a sample of examples that illustrate the relevance of regional multilateralism and cooperation and collaboration. ASQA and its partners are always committed to nurturing these partnerships to achieve a better future for the peoples of the region. And we are very much looking forward, Ambassador Khairat, to working with CICA and cooperating with CICA as the years to come. By working together, we can overcome complex challenges and inspire action to turn these aspirations of the Sustainable Development Goals into reality, leaving no one behind. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Tashti, for your outstanding presentation and sharing your insightful approaches to regional cooperation in West Asia, but also your readiness. I appreciate very much your readiness to cooperate with CICA. We have many areas to cooperate. We discussed that yesterday, including the transboundary water management, including the green finance and green transformation. And you mentioned about your great cooperation with different stakeholders, including the entrepreneurship, like Arab Chamber, Union of Arab Chamber, or with the bank stakeholders from the financial part as Union of Arab Banks. That's very interesting and encouraging. Thank you so much for your contribution. Now I would like to open the interactive discussion. However, we have only 5 minutes, according to my Garmin watch. And you see that we're losing also our keynote speakers. So I will probably invite those who would like to put the questions to the podium or to make your comments, but please observe the limit of 3 minutes, not more. Anybody would like to have a floor? Yes, please. I would ask also each speaker to introduce him or herself for the audience. Thank you.
Dear Ambassador Saribay, Excellencies, distinguished guests, my name is Stepan Golovin. I'm Director of the Division from the Department of Asia and Pacific Cooperation from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation. I would like to thank organizers for arranging this important and interesting sideline event. As we all know, unfortunately, pandemic has increased and deepened inequalities in the societies, and we all see that there is a serious rollback in achievement of SDGs, and of course colleagues from the UN know it's even better than we do. Developing countries suffer from rising external debts and now growing inflation in the world, and now we see that their traditional donors are also decreasing their financing. So I think we need to approach on various levels, on national level, on regional level, and we can say cooperation between various regions. For example, in particular, we in Russia, of course, pay the utmost attention to achieving the SDGs. For example, we improve statistical monitoring. We actively participate in climate negotiations. We put emphasis on low carbon development, green financing. On the regional level, as we know, Russia, Kazakhstan, as well as Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and Armenia are members of the Eurasian Economic Union, And this organization's main goal is to improve livelihood of its population, which is, of course, a direct contribution to SDGs implementation. And this was one of the aims during Russia's chairmanship in Eurasian Economic Union this year. And our deputy prime minister, Mr. Overchuk, he mentioned, he discussed it in particular during his speech recently at UNGA. And the third level, which I mentioned, is it's important to cooperate between various organizations. And this is the topic that you raised today, and we think it's very timely and interesting because it's time to share best practices, knowledge, experience. And this coordination in the context of lack of financial resources, it can bring really good results, we think, and become a good contribution to creation of a seamless space of prosperity and progress in our region. In particular, we can talk about, as I mentioned, Eurasian Economic Union, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, ASEAN, CICA, of course, for example, Asia Cooperation Dialogue. By the way, these three organizations, CICA, ACD, and Shanghai Cooperation Organizations, they had ministerial meetings during this UNGA, and we can see that the topics which are raised in case of socio-economic development are very similar, so we can really think about synergizing our efforts. And all this will contribute to creation of our continent of prosperity, as I mentioned, or as our president put it, the initiative of a greater Eurasian partnership, which is an initiative for creation of, cooperation and interaction between various organizations in our vast region. Thank you very much.
I thank distinguished Russian representative for your remarks. Thank you so much. I would like just to say a few words that CICA established already a partnership with a number of regional organizations, including League of Arab States, including the Organization for Economic Cooperation. Last year, we signed a memorandum on cooperation with Eurasian Economic Commission. We are very happy. We also get some interest of our member states to have established the institutional relations with ASEAN, and we're moving forward in that direction as well. So thank you so much for also commending the efforts to synergize the activities of different regional stakeholders. I thank you. So unfortunately, we have no any time. If we have any questions to our speakers, if not, so I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to our distinguished panelists, to our great speakers today, for your personal participation and great contribution to this event. The summary of the event will be prepared by the CICA Secretariat, and we will ask maybe to circulate it maybe in the UN system as well. And I request delegation that delivered statements, or my distinguished speakers, to send the written text to our secretariat to ensure accurate reflection of our discussion in the summary. I thank the host of our meeting for excellent organization, the staff of the chairmanship, the CICA Secretariat, in particular our distinguished interpreters for excellent support, and I declare the event is closed. Thank you so much.